If they want me to talk, they'll ask me.
Welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News this week, presented by Papa John's. We got some of the Papa John's people here tonight.
Yeah.
Jack.
Well, yeah.
And we got the double bacon pizza here.
That thing's good.
It is
This
very
one
good.
was mine, Jack.
You guys are actually my
This is
favorite.
yours. This is yours. You just stay off of that.
And
Anyway,
I don't know how many slices you gonna go home with.
all right. We're going left door.
I
See,
think
you
our,
had lost control already. We ain't even got started.
well, Brandy's got me all jacked up on Mountain Dew over here.
I didn't do anything. He said my name.
We got to thank our marketing partners, Langley Speedway, Performance Plus Motor Oil, Safety Clean. I think those guys, man, they give me a lot of product for the race car.
Don't give me
Even
nothing.
product is money. Remember that, Jacob. Black Acid Apparel. If you need some shirts, you need one shirt, 50 shirts, 1,000 shirts. They're the people. Factory Canopies. They gave us a nice tablecloth here. Got some nice chairs. I thank those guys. MPM Marketing. You need some help with social media and do's and don'ts of doing on social media, Jacob. I think you already have a class of this.
He's good.
Maybe we'll send. But any driver stuff you may need, suits, gloves, helmets, that kind of stuff, she can handle all that stuff for you. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, our choice of drinks of choice, whichever way it's supposed to be said.
Yeah.
Bonder Brothers Distillery, GAC, Great American Company. We got Virginia 811 and NC 811, Call Before You Dig, and Blackwater Station Grill.
Chase City, Virginia. Good place to go eat.
Mm-hmm. And
All right.
obviously, we're presented by Papa John's. And go get the new special. How long is the special for? This month? Is it this month? Or?
The triple bacon is on for a while. It's $13 for a large.
Triple bacon, $13 for a large.
Did you mention Billy? I didn't hear that one.
Not yet.
All right. Let's do with our Smith's Wraps and Graphics weekend roundup. We got 2 weekends we really got to round up because we wasn't here last week.
Yeah.
From Martinsville, the Cup winner was Alex Bowman. The Xfinity winner was Noah Gregson. The truck winner was Zane Smith. Those are some pretty good races that from Martinsville. Here at Langley,
No. Whose side were you on? Were you on Bowman's side or Denny's side on the Martinsville deal?
I don't know why
We're gonna put you on.
I don't know why you're
We're
gonna stir up
put
some
you
stuff
on
again. I was on Bowman's side.
Yeah, I was too.
Anyway, also it was championship night week before last here at Langley Speedway. The Champ Carts. The Champ Cart winner was Matthew Leach, and he also got the championship. In the Super Streets, Landon Abbott got to win. The champion was Dale Nichols. Super Trucks, Chase McAdams got to win, and Scott Allen's rival Ryan Huff got the championship. Just how to put that in there, right? In the U-Cars, Landon Florian got to win, and the championship went to Christian, Keller. Never mind, I couldn't even read my own right. So anyway, at the Balluzzo Modified, the pole went to Matt Carter.
That was a shot.
Matt Carter and Rick Godovic took the Balluzzo challenge and went to the rear, and it didn't pay off for either one of those guys. As Chris Johnson, who will be with us in a little while, he ended up winning the race.
I will say Chris Johnson wasn't on my radar to win. I figured there was going to be a lot of big hitters.
Not mine either. The lap 48, they gave the great big bonus at lap 48, and Brad Adams got the
Oh, was he?
Daniel Balluzzo East Coast Mechanical. He was in the lead at lap 48, and that was right when they took the break right there. And after that point, it was not the same after that point for him. Then we had this past weekend, championship weekend in the series, Cup Series, Xfinity and Trucks. Kyle Larson got the win and the championship in the Cup Series. I guess nobody saw that coming.
I mean, I don't think anybody voted for anybody else to thought. I mean, I thought he was going to be the guy to beat. Although early on, I was surprised.
I think Ray Charles saw it coming.
Yeah,
Like you
for sure.
said, because everybody saw it that one.
And I got to be happy for the crew chief there,
Cliff Daniels.
Cliff. I mean, you know, a local guy, Virginia guy. The race late models around here, and then obviously was an engineer under Chad Canals. Was an engineer over at Stewart House for a while. I think he won a championship over there too, if I'm not mistaken, with Tony.
May have, I don't remember.
I don't know if he was there those years or not. And then ended up going back to Hendrick Motorsports. And I mean, what about him? I'd love to get him on sometime again and talk about, you know, his journey. Here you get a call to be, you know, Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, which has got to be pretty gratifying, but then a lot of pressure comes with that. And then obviously they didn't have the numbers to put with it at the end of his career. But to come out of the gate, I guess he felt like he hit the lottery when everything got divvied up, and he ended up with Kyle Larson.
And 10 wins this year, which was unbelievable too.
Which I don't know anybody's done that in a long time. I know Kevin won 9 last year.
The last one, they were talking about it the other day. The last one, somebody won 11. I can't remember who it was.
I think it was
But that's
senior.
been a while back.
I mean, that's been a long time. And then Daniel Hemrick on the Xfinity. I was glad to see him moving.
Well, I was sitting there watching them, and I kept hollering. I think my wife she wasn't particularly happy with the fact that I was hollering, and she was trying to go to sleep. She was in the bed trying to go to sleep, and I was hollering, "Move him, do what you got to do, move him." I'm not promoting that type of medication. I know you're a young guy and everything, so I'm not promoting that. But you know, that's move him, please move him, and he did. In the truck series, Chandler Smith got the win. Ben Rhodes got the championship.
What about Ben Rhodes? Well, just a few years ago, we had him on the show, and he was racing some damn mattresses of the beds. Remember when they were doing that, running around some stadium or something?
Yeah. At the Fall Brawl down in Hickory, North Carolina this past weekend, at Hickory, the limited late model winner was Ryan Millington. The Carolina Pro Late Model Series winner, Leland Honeyman Jr.
I didn't see that one coming.
And the late model stocks, Mason Diaz got the win in that one. And I have talked to Leland, and Leland will be with us next week.
Oh, really?
So I've talked with him, and he's kind of excited about things right now. Down at Caraway, the North-South Shootout. The 602 Modifieds, Lee Jeffries won. The Tour-type Modifieds, Matt Hirschman won. And in the Pro Late Models, or well, I guess the regular late models, Josh Lauder won. I left out the ARCA race. The ARCA race was this past weekend at Phoenix, the ARCA West. Ty Gibbs got the win. That's nothing unusual. And the championship went to Jesse Love Jr. with our buddy Bill McAnally getting another championship. So
I know. And Bill, they're changing manufacturers. That was a shock.
yeah, they're going. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I can't believe he's leaving Toyota.
with all that.
Or is that just in the trucks that they're changing manufacturers?
No,
Is that all the way down?
It's supposed to be all the way.
That was a shock. I did not see that
all the
coming.
way down. SMI announced this week that they have bought Nashville and Dover.
That's official.
It's official. They bought the tracks. So Marcus Smith has now got 2 more tracks that he can play with scheduling for the next couple of years. So that'll be a pretty big deal.
Now,
Also,
what's that? Now, I heard the rumor about where did Darrell Watchett win a bunch of races at Wilkesboro? I can't. That's a lot of work had to be done before they can bring it back.
Well,
I heard rumors of it, but I just
they're trying to bring it back, and they're going to try to. I think their first one will start with the Cars Tour. The Cars Tour is going to go in there and run the first time, and then they're going to try to see if they can.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of. I mean, you got to spend a few $1 million to. Although I think this is now a time in NASCAR that they need to start sort of moving around and doing some different things because a lot of their tracks are sort of cookie cutter. They're the same. And
How about that test in Bowman Gray with it?
yeah,
That was a pretty big deal too. All right, want to also while we have time to talk about it, Aiden Zedrich has checked in the hospital up in New Jersey. If anybody would like, I got his address. Send me a message. I will give you the address. As a matter of fact, it's on my race page. He'd like to, I think it'd be nice for everybody to just kind of send him some cards and tell everybody how we're thinking about him while he's up there. He's going to have a long road to get back, but he's due to. He'll be back, and he'll be back racing. So that's a pretty big deal. So I hope we get to see him back real soon, and everybody try to, send him make him feel good about, he's going to be stuck in that hospital for. I think somebody said he's going to be in ICU for 10 days.
I heard it was for a while.
So that's gonna be a long drawn out process. You know Aiden, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. I figured you did. You know where everybody's from.
He's popular.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our news. And now we've got Jacob Derrick.
Oh, watch it. Not too fast, Jacob. Not too fast. Well, I didn't want you to jump and start. I haven't done that. Just come to me.
I'm not even gonna get it. I'm just going to sit right here for a minute.
So, how was your season overall?
It was really good. Not what I expected. I expected running top 5. I didn't expect to win any races this year. It was a good season, a really good season. Next year we'll bounce back and go. For
Bounce back?
Yeah.
Sound like you can't get much. You can't get, but just a little bit better. I mean, I guess you could win all the
You
races.
have one bad thing happen to you, now you think your whole season's going to smoke, right? Scott would less love to have,
Hey, I'll take half your season.
He like to lead a lap.
And I will jump the start and not care.
And you have done it. Didn't you jump the start one time?
Well, I was never caught, so no.
I'm not even going to leave that completely alone right now.
No, but you gotta say, man, I have said this to everybody, to your dad, probably not to your mom. I've been impressed watching you this year. It's been fun. I think it's kind of rejuvenized the Legend series. One that Jackson's not here every week, dominating. I don't know what the hell he's got, but he's fast. But it's been fun to watch you and Spencer and the amount of respect that you guys have. Because Spencer has even said, because I was messing with Spencer the last race. I said, how you this? He's like, I'm good. I got ice in my veins. I was like, man, that kid has been impressive this year. He's like, yeah, he's been worrying me to death,
Yeah.
But I mean, I could imagine going into the season, even I think I told you that before the last race. I'm like, either way, how it turns out, I think you've exceeded your expectations for the year.
Oh yeah.
So you got to, in the end, you got to be happy.
Yeah.
You got to be thrilled to death.
I'm happy. Yeah. I just didn't.
Can I get some of your fans? I mean, I couldn't even see you in the picture in some of these Victory Lane pictures. You got so many damn.
But
Is these girlfriends?
All these
or-
little girls. All these little girls come hanging around there. What's the deal with that? Oh, you done got quiet on us now. Look, and face turning red too.
He don't know nothing about having fans, so.
You all be one talk. I don't even want to talk about that. He said Andrew Fuller said the decal on your car made you run fast.
Yeah, I got my first point because of that sticker. You put it on right before qualifying.
Did you do what I told you to do? You sent me a picture where you were putting it over top of his sticker, but you didn't do it.
I don't think it's on the car.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
If she said it wasn't on there, me and you were gonna have talk.
I don't go down there though.
So what's going on for next year? What you got planned for next year? You going back in the Legends again next year?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna try my hardest to win the championship. Get back for this year.
Now, are you going to give Riley any jabs? No?
Right, use it.
No. Yeah.
What did you say?
Give him a hard time. I know he's not racing in the same class.
Yeah, I'm gonna push him. I like Riley.
Just think
We
about it.
got to talk trash about Riley.
Yeah.
Just think you come out there and won races and everything. Riley won some races, but he was in the band though.
Yeah.
Right. See?
So if anybody ought to be teaching somebody, you should be teaching him.
He knows what he's doing. He'll be all right.
Does he?
Yeah.
You sure?
He's winning that Wake. Wake's a hard track. It's definitely a challenging track. I've been there. I did not like it. That track, it is Got a lot of bumps.
So you look at this and you got you're gonna run here for a championship, or you gonna try to race in some other places?
Oh, yeah.
Do some other racing around?
Yeah, we want to travel to a lot of places. Like this weekend, we might go to Carteret and run for the 800 to win.
Oh, this coming weekend? That's not a car red though. That's a Goodyear.
That's Carteret.
That's Goodyear.
From what you say, it's not right.
That's the old Coastal Plains. That's Goodyear. Goodyear race.
Carteret.
No,
I
Carteret
don't
is.
think Coastal has the Legends no more.
It's in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Is all I can tell you.
That's not the name your dad said, right?
No, it's Carteret.
No, what's the town? When you said when you looked it up, it starts with like an S.
I can't remember.
Scarsboro or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well,
And then Kinley. We're going to Kinley.
Yeah, Kinley. That's anyway. I haven't seen you since June
July 6th.
on the show. You know, but I mean, I've seen you, but I haven't seen you. You know, you haven't been up here. Anyway, this is
You
your
got to turn around. See, I got to teach him how to do stuff.
this is your rookie driver of the month for June. I'm sorry, and I've got another one coming that didn't get printed today for your driver of the week for 2 weeks ago when you know
Thank you.
had that good race.
Thank you. It wasn't good. It ended bad, but the first part was good.
Well, yeah, you were doing really good in the first part of the race.
Just we kept catching Tommy and Spencer. And the caution came out. The caution helped me though. My arms. I started working out.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to work out.
I don't need to get in the Legends then. I don't know if I can get the door shut.
He says his arms feel like noodles.
Oh, I'm sure. Man, those things are a handful.
Yeah.
Now you got your mom. You know, she comes up and stands up here in the stands and everything. Aren't you proud of the fact that she's up there pulling for you like she does?
Sometimes
So you don't claim her?
I do, but sometimes she can. Like when she starts banging on the ground on the stands.
But I'm gonna tell you something. You ought to be able to get some wind coming down the front straightaway with them arms flying like when she's doing this. When you come down, you ought to be able to get some wind coming with
That's
it.
what I'm doing.
It's like a drag. You
But
pulling
Jack,
you right
that's
on
what
down.
I'm doing. I'm giving him that extra wind to go. The wind.
and it's working.
Yeah. How many poles do you have this year?
5 or 4 or 5, something like that.
And how many wins did you get?
2.
Two.
Well,
I
one
thought you got a.
win. I
three.
didn't even qualify on the pole. I got second. I only won one time on the pole.
He won Hampton Heat Night in June 26 was his first win.
Hmm.
And he won on his birthday, the Hampton Heat. And that's when all 8s won. That was a
Yeah,
good night.
yeah. I told Brian White. I said, went in there and told him, I said, did you see anything funny about tonight? Brian says, what's that? And I said, think about
Oh
it.
yeah.
Think about it.
That was pretty cool.
A number 8 car won all the races. And he said, yeah, I ain't thought about it. He said, you're right. Oh.
And I don't know who mentioned it too, but for the championship, 87 was leading, and 8 and 7 were in it to win it. So that was kind of cool.
Hmm.
The numbers.
I didn't put that together. I didn't think about
Someone mentioned that. I don't remember who said that, but that was kind of neat.
Well, you know, you and Spencer Saunders, that last race was, we won't even talk about that too much. But I mean, you guys have great competition between the two of you.
Oh yeah, we're at it every weekend, battling.
Do you spend a lot of time talking with him and seeing what he, go up and see what he's doing? What have you talked to him about?
Yeah, I talk to him every once in a while. Not usually. No.
So I mean, it's a good deal. It was a great season for the two of you guys.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And finishing up. I mean, okay, the little thing at the end of the season there.
that. Yeah, we had that in live sports.
It downplayed. As much as it downplayed you, it also downplayed him because he won a championship, and then everybody's kind of on his case about he won a championship under those circumstances. They're on him, and then
But it doesn't have an asterisk beside his name at the end of the season.
no, it doesn't, and that's the way it is.
That's
And
just part of racing.
you hate it for both of you guys because you both have that same situation.
Yeah.
I can tell you, if it happens to me, it ain't gonna stop me from talking trash. Even if I win on somebody who jumps to start and they get black flag, I'm still gonna talk trash.
I would
Spencer
too.
hasn't done that.
No, I know,
Oh,
but I'm just
yeah.
saying I would. So I would take it. But maybe that's why I don't win any races because I don't take it serious enough.
Why not? You should take it serious.
I know that's part of I'm too ADD.
But like I said earlier, when he took that cone, that was our chance. That was our only chance.
Oh yeah, you
So
have.
we wouldn't have got around the 87.
No.
And he did what any driver would do. And if they say they wouldn't, they're lying.
Well, I agree with you.
Everything was on the line.
I totally agree with that because
I'll do
it's- I mean if that's your one shot, you got to go for it. I
Right.
mean, I don't
And I
care
think
what the
people will
situation is.
Respect you for that.
Yeah, you got it. And if you didn't go for it, they're going to say, "Well, he ain't wanting it. You don't want it bad enough." You did what you were supposed to do. You're here to win that race.
Oh, yeah.
You're not here to ride around behind him and make him look good. You're here to win the race. He's here to win the race.
Once the caution came out, I asked my dad, I said, "Can I go to the top?" I said, "Yeah." So I did it. I knew what I was going to do. I just think it.
Now, does your dad spot for you?
Yeah.
Does he? Do y'all have a good relationship over the radio?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes
Okay, you don't have to say the politically correct word.
Take it with the gum.
But
Maybe
no,
she'll start stomping
I mean,
her foot.
Is it hard? Is it hard with your dad spotting for you? I mean,
No, I like him spotting for me because he doesn't talk that much. So it helps me.
but when he talks, you listen.
Yeah.
And you like somebody that doesn't talk that much?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I get to focus more. Instead of someone in my ear saying, like, 5 back, 3 back, on your bumper.
You know what? I got a deal for you. I got a big deal for you. Okay. Next year, at one of your races next year, I will pay you to let your mom spot for you.
No.
He said he wants to win, Jack.
After nationals, I'm not. Pit life is not for me. No. They're
You
not
don't have to be in a
nice.
pitch. You'll be on top of the building talking to it.
Yeah. No. 'Cause I'll be.
She'll stomp on the spider stand.
Gotcha. So they still say they can hear me down there. There's no way.
We can. I can hear you.
Well, there was a couple of times we could hear you.
But you're up here.
No, I'm just saying. There's a couple of times
So you can hear me through the
They have
glass.
windows, yes.
I mean, it was only a couple of times when you really got emotional. Well, I don't know how you
People pay
explain
attention
when
to
you really get emotional because she's emotional every time. But I think it's funny when they call up here and say, "All right, they got the legends ready to qualify, and they get ready to turn them loose." I think I stand up. I don't know. I think Brian stands up. Everybody's watching. We're watching you. We're not really watching Jacob do what he's doing.
She's got her own fan club.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty cool. But I mean, we can work that out if you let her spot for you one race next year.
Maybe a practice. I know about a race. Maybe if I'm leading by a lot in points wise, but other than that,
I wouldn't. I'd keep on doing what you've been
Yeah.
doing.
Okay, I was just trying to get your mom involved.
I'm involved.
She
You know, I want
she don't need no help.
I
Jack.
want her to put the headphones on and see what.
She had to
Okay,
get one
listen.
without a mic.
yeah, she can listen. I don't know if I talk.
She never take her finger off the button.
Yeah.
I remember spotting for somebody one time, and their mother was standing there, and I was spotting for him, and he was going around the track, and he got spun. He was sitting in the middle of the track, and all he said was, "Oh shit, oh shit." That's all he said the whole time he was sitting there. And the mother looked at me. "What did he say?" I said, "You don't want to know." And she says, "I know what he's saying. He better not say it again." I'm saying, he's sitting out there in the middle of a track, but a bunch of race cars running around him. I'd be saying it too. So you don't cuss. You don't cuss like that.
No.
He better than Taylor says we can hear you and see you, Brady.
They can see me.
No,
Oh.
she's talking about in general.
Oh. Not right now.
She easy to play a joke on.
Yeah.
All right.
Are y'all gonna be at the banquet?
Yeah, I'm planning on being there. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be there.
What'd you end up finishing?
not good enough.
Third.
That's good. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I saw that one race. And blew a motor. So. A couple people didn't run the last race, but
Travis
Sorry.
moving up, ain't he? Travis Wall? Is he moving up?
no, I asked him. I said I didn't want him to move up because I want to beat him.
Yeah. Same with Tommy. I want to beat him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I went over and I was like, man, you running next year? He's like, yeah, you running? I'm like, yeah, I want to beat you. You know, you want to beat the best, and he's the best right now. So that's, you know, if I beat him, then you feel like, okay, you done something.
Same with Tommy.
All right, thank you, sponsors, and everybody helps you out.
And your number one fan, Mom.
Yeah. Mill Creek Tavern, McFatter's Restaurant, E-Dealer Services, Brickworks and More, and Hooters of Hampton, Farrell Performance.
Yeah, Hooters on your car?
Well, man, why ain't we been invited to eat or something?
Wow, come on now. What's up with this?
And the fire alarm at the hotel.
I was in the room. I was getting ready to get in the shower too. Boom, it goes off. I was like,
What happened?
I don't even know.
That's smart. That's smart.
You went down there.
I was taking a shower.
I sure am glad you put some clothes on before you took off running.
Yeah, that was good.
Who knows? You may have got some more. You may have got some more fans.
I was just wondering how you got all those fans. I don't know.
Well, Jacob, congratulations. And I got another one coming for you. Don't get as soon as it gets printed. So
Is your printer broke or something?
my printer doesn't work, so I'm having it printed at the hospital in Franklin. So
All right, so Jack, this one is for you.
No, not a fanny pad.
look at this. I like this. This is cool.
That's what. Be
fast
fast or be
last.
last. Yeah.
You know all about that. That was a smart one. That,
Just what you talking about?
huh? That's pretty smart. I like the fact it's got your name on it.
Well, his number's on the back too.
Oh, I didn't even turn around the back. Look at that.
I want to see you wearing this, Jeff.
Yeah, that's why I bought it. Or I made it. I didn't.
Yeah, how
buy it,
did you get into this?
Into what?
Into
Fanny packs?
and you, I see you with them all the
I
time.
love them.
I think you brought somebody up here once.
I made Justin one.
I thought so. I thought I remember seeing you when you came up here.
He calls his a
You want-
manny pack.
Calls it a what?
A manny pack.
Man,
His says Justin Ellis, the race director. His says bag of tears, and then I put a water bottle in his.
Well, this
Well,
is
thank
cool.
you,
Thank
Brady.
you very much. We appreciate that.
It's just
Thank
kind
you.
of funny, but
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to see you wearing them next year.
We're at the banquet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ought to wear it at the banquet.
Right along with your caution flag.
I think you ought to wear it in race car next year.
If it makes me win, I will. I'll wear it across here if it makes me win.
That's about the only way you can wear it. Anyway, thank you, Jacob. We'll have you another. We got you another one coming. Just bear with me. I'm not the greatest at keeping up with things.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
You
Come
gotta
on
put
in, Tom.
You got to put a quarter in.
Crawl under.
I'm doing better than Mr. Slice. I didn't fall down.
Oh yeah, you did good.
Hold on. You don't have to do all that.
You know, we met
It's
at the
funner to
race
watch.
this past
Yeah.
at the last modified race. But I've heard your name mentioned a lot. I mean,
Is that good
I mean, it's
or
good stuff.
bad?
I mean, it's good stuff. And I've always said, I didn't know who this guy was, but and then when Marty introduced us, then it all played out in my head. Then, so how long have you been involved in racing?
Oh gosh. I started back in '79 as a crew member for Steve Durham. I don't know if you remember.
I've heard the
Name
name, but I
sounds
don't
familiar.
know.
Yeah, Steve Durham and Rose Durham. They ran Ford Cougars, Mercury Cougars, and that's when I started.
Huh.
And Joe Carter was the promoter.
Yeah.
And he started, I think they called it Pure Stock. And it was a full frame, 112-inch wheelbase. And it was pretty much pure stock cars. And Steve talked me into it, which I shouldn't have never let him do. and that started my racing career, I guess. Run for a few years. Got hooked up with John Phillips. Started running. I think it was called Grandstock then or something like that. And
No.
we ran real good. We got some help from the Sawyers way back in the day, and they kind of showed us how to work the chassis a little bit and get some speed out of the car. We won a championship in '86, and then we just kind of split up after the championship. I kind of got out of it for a while. I'd been at it for quite some time, and we were sitting around, me and some buddies were sitting around the house one night, and apparently drank too many beers and said, let's go racing.
That'll get you every time.
That was back in 2013. We said, well, what are we going to race? And we batted around, street stock, grand stock, blah, blah, this. Let's go modify. And since then, we've been trying to field a car ever since 2013. So.
Now, how many cars you got? Is it one or two?
We got two. Terry Harris drives the other car, which that deal was basically for him to run to Dominion, at Dominion. And Roger Sawyer built the other car that we run here, and Colby Vance is driver. He's done an excellent job for us. He's learning, we're learning. Yeah. I'm sorry.
He had a good run the other
Yeah,
week.
he did. He's improved every week he's got in the car. We started off, we were a little late. We got out here a little late, but he's definitely improved. He's I won't say a young man, but to me, everybody's a young man.
I mean, he was 28, 26?
Yeah.
20 is he young? Okay, yeah.
But he's definitely a good wheel man. He can handle it, and he takes care of the equipment. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he hasn't tore anything up.
Yeah, as an owner, you can't ask for much more. So.
Well, that's cool. I mean,
Sure.
he's done a great job. And I know the other night with that Balluzzo Memorial race, he really did well. But I know a whole lot of
Fourth.
Yeah. I think a lot of those guys were really trying hard to get that win on that night. That was a huge night, and I think it was.
Yeah, we just couldn't get going. The restarts, and we won't even go there tonight on restarts. But those restarts were killing us. We kept getting jammed up, and we found out after the race that the Zero car, I can't remember the young man's name, but it had no clutch. And we kept going to the outside trying to get some position, and it's like, why ain't he going? And he just had no clutch. So, but hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you like this division, the modified division, compared to others, or?
I really do like the modified division. I would say if I have any problems with the modified division, I wish the tracks would get more uniform on the rules. And I would like to see us, I would love to see us run kind of like a once a week deal, run 1 week at Langley, 1 week at Dominion, and 1 week at maybe South Boston. Hint.
Yeah.
But they got to uniform the rules, because,
Well, how much difference is it to run here than at Dominion? I mean, I know the track is bigger, and I know that the speed is a bigger thing up there.
Well, the car itself, I mean, there's arguments between the center pole. You can't run the center pole at Dominion. The car that Colby drives is a center pole car. The car that Terry drives is just conventional 3-lane car. But if they come to some middle ground, if we can come to some middle ground, and try to organize the rules a little bit, it would be. I think it would really help the division. Because I mean, they fielded what was it, 32 or 33 cars?
Well, they had 32 here, but only 31 started because I think Mark pulled out at the.
Right. And so that shows you there's the cars are there, and if they put the purse out, and everybody works together, they can put on a show. I mean, I think it was a hell of a show.
That was a heck of a race. I mean, that was unbelievable.
Well, hopefully next year, I'm not going to say there wasn't no effort, but to at least split it to where you could have your choice whether you want to run here or Dominion, having the schedule sort of staggered. So if the guys are not running the Dominion, they can come here, and then vice versa.
But you still got, like you said, you still got the rule thing that's a problem between the two tracks.
Well, how many cars are not that run here that have that? I don't know.
I can't honestly say, how many cars are center pole and how many cars are, let's say, 3 lane.
Hmm.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I know that the Port City cars are all center pole. I think Brad Adams is center pole.
I think so too.
Bra's car is center pole. One of our cars is center pole.
Hmm.
I mean, it would be good to see them put that together to where
Oh, for sure.
you could run either place and go back and forth. If nothing else, I'd like to see where maybe there's a small series between the 3 tracks.
Well, that's how it
That would
originally
be
started
great.
with
That'd be
Ricky
great.
Dennis started it when they first started the modifieds here. That's what it was. It was a traveling series.
I think it would be good. I think they would have good fields.
I mean, you look at what we had here the other night. I mean, that was unbelievable. 30.
I mean, Terry didn't really get to drive the car much at Dominion because the modified race is always conflict with the Langley race. And of course, he's I think his primary, is DJ. And so when Langley's running, he's got to be here with DJ. And of course, we're here with Colby. So, so it hurts the field up there. I think their fields were probably around 9-10 cars away.
Oh, really?
Their field was way down, from my understanding. And it's hurting the division. They need to work. The tracks need to work together and schedule this thing out because it's hurting the division. It's hurting the track.
And to see those guys from Dominion come down here last week, I mean,
Yeah.
a bunch of them showed up down here, and that shows the interest is there.
Yeah.
If they just got to be able to put it together.
And understand if this thing with Southside comes about, then they're going to run the modifieds. So there's a Friday night race. So the guys that want to race these modifieds, they have venues to race them if the tracks will work together. And and the modified drivers need to support the tracks too.
Mhm.
That's kind of one of the reasons they're not at South Boston, is because there was a conflict in scheduling between South Boston and Dominion, my understanding. And everybody kind of shunned South Boston, and I think it's left a bad taste in their mouth. Hopefully they'll get over it and bring us back.
You
So,
got a new regime going into South Boston now.
Yeah.
With Chase and Carly going in over there, and they're making some subtle changes around there from what I'm hearing.
Well, hopefully they will.
And
Hopefully they'll
that'll
bring
be
it
one of
back.
the things they're going to work on, I hope.
But,
So where's your shop at? Or where do you guys work?
my
at?
backyard.
Where's that at?
Weisberg.
Okay.
What they call the upper end of York County is where.
Hmm.
But the address is Williamsburg. So
Okay.
Well, I mean, I would love to see that division flourish a little more, with the type of cars and everything that they have. I think it'd be great to see it happen. And now, what kind of chassis do you get? Who you got? Or do
I was
you
gonna say,
build
what do y'all eat for lunch?
we eat a lot of pizza. Well, the car that Colby drives is Roger Sorty built that car,
Okay.
and the car that Terry drives, it's kind of it's an older car. It's got a Brett Hamilton snout on it, and it's got the rest of it's Bobby Creech. So
okay.
it's been massaged. So
Talk a little bit about how Terry and them did such a great job with this Balluzzo race, getting the people here, doing all. I mean, I know she worked on it hard to get it done, and it was really cool to see it come off like it did. And I mean, it's got to be good for you guys too to be able to come here. I mean, the place was jam packed that night.
it shocked me they had 30 plus cars. It really did. It was shocking. And I might be speaking out of school, but I think that was more competitors than they were in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and that says something for the division.
Well, I spoke with Terry, and we were talking, and she said, she looked at me, she said, wasn't it amazing to see 30 cars here, 30 modifieds? And she said, Sean would have been happy to see this happen.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal to see it happen from him, and hopefully we can keep it going for many more years to come.
Well, even like in Mario, I think it was even though it was rained out a few weeks ago. I think it could be a staple race for like Halloween. There's nobody else was doing a big race then. They're making a big event with a bunch of the schemes that they had.
Well,
You
there
know,
was
Halloween schemes and stuff like that. I think it could be
a
Bill
couple
felt
guys
it
because
is-
of the rain out got to come here and race.
right.
That if it didn't rain out, if it back when it was scheduled, if it did rain out, they wouldn't have been able to be here. And,
Right, which I mean, I
so
think
they
it would
need
be
to
a better.
maybe separate it a little bit from the regular season. I would think.
Mhm.
We were fortunate to get a sponsor just for the race, Chrome Cut and Company. They came on board just for that one race, and so we were able to get the car wrapped with their logo on the quarter. And their barbershop deal, and so the Edward Scissorhands we had on the car, they kind of picked it, which kind of really meshed real well. So that was pretty cool.
Are they going to continue through next year? Or?
Well, we're hoping. We're talking. They're brand new. They just opened up, and so they're going to have to see how the business goes first, and that's understandable.
So, what are your plans for next year with 2 cars and everything? Are you going to do about the same thing you did this year, or?
Well, there's a lot of talk and stuff going on right now, and I really have an interest in the limited class that Langley's starting. And there again, that's one of those deals I'd like to see where the 3 tracks could kind of get together on the rule package and see.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
It's hard to. I mean, I don't understand the politics behind it. But,
Well, they tried that. They tried that. What year before last, or whatever it was. They tried that limited late models. This did not get the people
Not a lot
up
of
there
guys
didn't want to
coming from
come.
that
They
hill.
didn't want to come here, and I think we only had like 2 guys from here that went up there on a regular basis. And I mean, it was that's. I hope that they can make that a good class to. I mean, you got some kids that are going to come along, and it's time for them to get into something that's going to be
right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's like Jacob there. That's what you need. You need that youth in the sport, or it's not going to last.
That's
for sure.
and that's a good thing about here at Langley. You see a lot of these young kids coming along, and that's really cool to have that happen. To see them come along, like Jacob, like Riley Music, some of these other ones that come in here and race. I mean, it's a blast to see these kids, and then they move up and do well that way too. All right, we got. We'll keep you here for right now if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
All right, we got Chris Johnson. Overall, I see his face. I don't, there he is.
Who's he presented by, Jack?
Chris Johnson's presented by Bondurant's Distillery.
What's up,
There
Chris?
he is. What's going on, Chris? Hello.
You freeze up?
Are you there, Chris?
It looks like he's froze. I bet Ashley wishes he would be like that.
We're having a problem here. I know Ashley likes your face, but I'm not
I
particularly
know.
fond of it.
She probably likes it because his mouth's not moving.
Oh, are you back?
I'm back. Is it picking up?
We can hear you.
A little bit by a little bit now. You're still freezing up on us.
Yeah, the internet's not that great here.
Oh, Ashley was blaming you for it.
For some reason. I'm at my mom's house. It's not great internet. So.
Well, what we want to do is bring you on here and congratulate you for that win you had in the Hampton Heat. I mean, not Hampton Heat, in the Balluzzo Memorial.
He wishes.
That was a big win.
That was probably the biggest win of my career for sure. It took a lot of work to get that one done.
I mean, think about it. I mean, I heard you make a comment that a lot of people don't think you and Sean liked each other very much. But that had to be a big deal to go in there and do that.
Yeah, it was a very big deal. It was a very special event. Last year we came up one spot short, but this year we put together a lot of stuff throughout the year and put it all together for that last race, and it came out well for us.
I mean, that was a great race towards the end, and we got Tony Steele sitting here with us, and we were talking about that race and how many cars showed up. What did you think about that with all those cars showing up?
I think it was a pretty cool event. I was glad to see the support for Sean. Last year was a little less, but still had great support, and we had people from all over coming. Had lots of new folks and new faces to the speedway, and talked to a few of them. They really enjoyed coming, and look forward to coming back there again.
Now, what'd you do with that great big trophy? I know you had to put it on display somewhere. I mean, because we had it here one night and it took up almost the table, so we want to know what you did with it.
Right now, Ashley's got it right now, so I'll get it back here before too long. She's got a birthday this week, so told she can have it to at least through her birthday anyway.
Are you serious? You got Ashley didn't drive that car.
No, she didn't, but she's
We
a
know
good
who's
part
in
of
charge.
it. So.
So in other words, we're seeing Ashley's the boss.
Most of the time.
No.
Hey, Chris, so when through the race did you think you had a shot at winning?
Right. I mean, honestly, I felt like all day we had a great car. Practice was a little chaotic, so it really didn't show it on the board. And then qualifying, we had done some tuning to the car to make it, so we could be there at the end. It's that fine line of qualifying fast or being able to race fast for 100 laps, and we had chose to run fast for 100 laps. And really, I mean, I knew about a halfway break that, the way track position was going and the way other cars were, and I felt like I had saved a whole lot. And at the break, I kind of felt like it was go time. Just track position seemed to be really big this year, whereas last year it wasn't quite as big for some reason, but this year it was just huge. And, I don't know if it was a new tire they brought in. We ran a 960, but it was a little stopped. It was a little bit different of a 960 tire, it seemed like, and it held up a lot better. So I think that's why track position was important. And, I felt after the break it was kind of go time.
Now, would you, if you had won that pole for that race, would you have gone to the rear?
My crew chief said I was.
No, the crew chief said, because I'm telling you, you got the win, but it sure was hard for Rick and Matt to come back through the field like they did. And then when they got to a certain point, they just kind of stalled out. That's where they got to, and that was it.
Yeah, like I said, track position seemed to be big, and those tires held up a lot better than the tires we've been running most of the year. And the level of competition at Langley's grown huge this year. I mean, from the start of the year when I won the first race till when I came back later in the year, I mean, I won that race and come back later, I was fourth, fifth place car. And we had to go home and do a lot of homework. And, the competition got better, and that long race, and, everybody was there.
You got that right. Now, I heard this past weekend you were at Ona, racing up there this past weekend. How'd that go for you?
It went well. It was a pretty neat experience. First time ever seen the place, running with different cars, different people. We came home with a 7th place finish. Had a couple misfortunes, had an incident on the first lap. Then we had to pit about lap 30 and kind of got behind the 8 ball. But them boys are tough in them other divisions. And, it's hard to go somewhere else and run that you've never been. We had to trade a tire, so we're running on a different tire, something we've never done around here. And, everybody welcomed us, and we had a great time up there.
Well, that's good because I like that track. I went there years and years ago, but I've been by it 1,000 times, and I tell you what, that's a cool little looking track there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility, and Thomas Mays and them up there, they've done a great job with stuff, getting things together for people, and promoting the racetrack and all. The racetrack's a little rough. Reminds me of Old Dominion up in Manassas when they had that, but it's definitely a different place, and we learned a lot being up there. And you go run out of town, you really got to challenge yourself, and we look forward to the challenge most of the time.
Now when we gonna get that one beside you there in a go-kart?
Nah, she don't want much parts of driving, so she don't have to. She don't
Okay.
have to.
Okay. I thought that's the way she's smiling and everything. I thought for sure she'd be ready to get in one of them.
No, she's not ready. She loves going to the racetrack, but she ain't quite ready to take it over yet.
So what's on store for you next year? What all you got going on for next year, or is it too early to tell?
Next year we're looking at doing some more traveling, going to running tour up north, and then run some races down south. In January here soon, they're going to have announcement in January. They're going to run a race somewhere in Georgia. We're going to try to run that, and we're going to try to go speed weeks. And then March we'll probably be back in Ona for the I guess let's see, it's the Mods of Mayhem. I think that's the one. The tour
Yeah.
where they run there, and then look to do some of that, and then we'll run local. Run some local races. Probably midsummer. When it gets hot, it's hard to travel with that heat and everything. So probably run some here local then.
Well, cool. Well, congratulations on a great win. I tell you what, man, I thought you did a great job, and
I mean, he won even with all them crazy women that hang around with him.
I know you got a lot of women hanging around with you, man, and some of them, but I'm not talking about Ashley because she might be mad if I say something bad about her. But
You might keep your mouth shut to any of them.
But anyway, congratulations, man. You
Thank
deserved it, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you next year.
Yeah, we'll be around. You don't have to worry about that. We'll be around here some, running some, and we'll be at Langley some. We might run some Dominion, and just kind of play it by ear next year.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your time tonight, man.
Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
I mean, that is a big win.
It is.
I mean, for anybody, especially with as deep as field as it was.
Think
I
of
mean,
where
you
that
wouldn't be
race.
able to tell me. No, we still have the trophy on the table. Maybe for the whole month.
Well, if you won something,
Yeah, even if it was just a Pro 6 race, it'd probably be a whole month.
he won one race in them little champ carts. Comes up here and leaves that thing sitting right in the middle of this table for about a month. And people were winning races and doing great jobs just because he won one race.
It was better than the Hampton Heat.
No, I ain't gonna say that. You want that good. You want that good.
I thought they were going to arrest me afterwards because I stole it.
So, with this modified stuff, I mean, you're looking at the limited stocks maybe somewhere down the road, but
Well, it's I think everybody's all waiting to see what the tracks are going to do, what the rules are going to be, and there's a lot of also in the modifieds. There's been a lot of talk about dumbing the cars down, taking away the bumps, taking away the centerpolls, changing the box. I don't know if it's just talk. It might be. If they are going to do some changes, it would be nice to get them as soon as possible. So if we do have to do any work to the cars or change anything, we can get it done before the season starts.
this type of modified and the tour type modified, there's a lot of difference in the two. I mean, is there something somewhere down the road you'd like to try that move over to do some of those tour type?
Well, it's my understanding. I don't know if it's just talk or not, but they were talking about. Rumors had it that they were bringing the. I think they call them the Carolina Crate Modifieds to Dominion.
Was it the 6?
They're 602 modified, and I think they're a tour car.
Yeah.
On a smaller tire, I think.
A smaller tire and smaller motor.
Mm-hmm.
And but there again, anytime you change over or you change rules, it hits everybody in the pocketbook.
Right.
So there's a lot of teams out there that the resources aren't very deep. And if there's a whole lot of changing going on there, it's going to put some of those teams out, and we just can't keep up.
The expense of the modified is in your thought of whatever. Is it the same or is it substantially less than a late model?
Oh, it's definitely a lot less than late model. My particular budget, there's no way we're running late. We couldn't even buy the body for the late model.
Well, I heard them talking down there. Some of the guys were walking around. I was walking around in the pit that day, and I heard them talking and carrying on. And now we did this, and we spent this kind of money and all this on these cars. I'm thinking, that's a lot of money that they're spending on these modifieds. And there's a couple of them that I would have thought that looked like they were spending the money that a late model team would spend on a modified.
Late models is pretty expensive.
Well, I know, but I'm saying these guys were talking about things that they've done, who they went to get certain things done for them. The expense thing is there.
Well, to me, the deterrent with late model is it's ruled to death. I mean, what is that? The modified rule book is 13 pages. I think it's 13. Might not need to be 13. I think the late models have 13 pages just on carburetors.
Yeah.
And each time there's a rule, it's cha-ching.
That's big, yeah, that's a big bucks.
If they take the bumps away, I mean, how is that going to affect? I mean, I guess looking back is if we try to get everybody on the same page, there's going to be changes to this group and there's going to be changes to,
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword because even to dumb them down is still going to cost somebody money.
Correct. Yeah.
The people that have all that, the hold down shocks and the bumps and center pulls, if they got to get rid of that, they're going to have to replace it with something. So they're going to go spend money. I don't know of any teams that are not on the bumps and the hold down shocks that I'm aware of. So.
And that's a problem across the board in racing today. 20 years ago when I was helping in the late models, everything was fairly standard. And now we have, technology has changed so much, and there's so much technology in these cars with the hold down shocks or the bumps, or there's a lot of other tricky stuff that's out there that, we could say that adds cost to it, and not everybody can just go buy and be like Joe Blow. It's kind of like this new car that the Gen 6 is coming out with. It's all standard stuff. Everybody's going to have the same thing. Everybody's going to have the same chassis, but it's pricing some people out because you can't. It's like trying to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, to go as fast, you got to spend the money. I mean, racing will take every dollar you have, and how do we control that? That's that's just a tough.
And I understand the
solution.
The track, the guys that are making rules. It's like every time you make a rule, somebody's going to love it, and somebody's going to hate it.
Right, you're not going to win.
Yeah, so what do? Do you just make a wholesale change, or do you just kind of gradually feather it back, or just let it go?
That's a tough one. I think of course, this is way past the process. Where the process used to be when you had a Cup car, when they went to a change, they were good for an Xfinity car, and then that car later on, the old Xfinity car was good for the ARCA series or the K&N.
Just kept moving down.
It trickled down. It gave you value to the stuff you had. Where today we don't have that. When your chassis or whatever is done, you don't have a series to pass it down to, and be cheaper and make it. Which it makes it all more affordable because you're buying used stuff instead of brand new stuff.
Chase Elliott built a brand new car for this race this past weekend, and it's no good after that race. It's no good for nothing. And I understand there's a lot of controversy going on now. What's going to happen? What we're going to do? How we're going to get?
Yeah, with all these cars, all these Cup teams have got, they're worth nothing.
All right, let's get Jeremy on here real quick. I know he's the one-arm bandit.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
What's up, Jeremy?
And what a weekend. Actually a couple of weeks back to back with the Sean race, and then we ran north-south shootout this past weekend and qualified kind of a little too snug in the cold weather. But we got all the way up front and ran in second for most of the race, and then pitted, come back out, and was charging through the field and got caught up in basically a wreck that probably shouldn't have happened. Just guys racing like idiots way too early in the race.
Yeah, well, it all depends on someone who you're racing with when they start talking about idiots. There may be a few of them out there.
That's a broad.
Well, the problem is with that north-south, you're interchanging a lot of guys from north and a lot of guys from the south. To me, I feel like the southern guys are more, other than the Bowman Gray regulars, going to that stadium it makes a tight deal. But like on our tour, like the Smart Tour all year, it's been pretty clean. Every once in a while you have a little wreck here and there, but for the most part, the guys respect each other, and and you start intertwining the guys from the north that are there for one reason, to win or basically kill the man with the ball. It's like they have no give and take, and that's what kind of sucks about But that going into it, it was just an unfortunate wreck that I got caught up in. I went low to miss a couple guys that were slowed up top, and then they ended up coming together, and then another guy got knocked into me, and then when he hit my wheel, I know these modifieds you got to let go of the wheel or just keep your fingers clear. Well, I did that, but I had a hold of the outside of the wheel, and it flung my hand off the wheel so fast that I caught the upright bar on the cage where it connects to the top. And when it did, it snapped my thumb. I actually thought it broke my whole hand, because for a second I couldn't even move my whole hand, and then I realized I could move my fingers, and of course the thumb swelled way up. So I was like, damn it, and unfortunately it was one of those weekends where my wife drove the RV and I drove the truck and trailer, because we had planned on getting from Keith Wheeler back the car and trailer I brought up from Mark, back to bring back home. So it saved me a little bit of fuel. And so she towed that one home, and I had to tow the other one home. So I got to drive one-handed, basically, and I usually tow with one hand, but I switch off because, the 9.5 hour trek, it's kind of nice to switch off and on, not have your hand fall asleep. but we made it home. We, like I said, went to the walk-in clinic, and unfortunately I was hoping it was just like a torn tendon or something simple, because I'm pretty tough. I've never really, knock on wood, I've never broke an actual bone clean like this ever in my career. So, and I race anything from USAC midgets, sprint cars, you name it, so I've been pretty fortunate for the racing since, hell, I'm 48 this year, and I've been racing since I was 6. So 42 years to never break a bone racing. I think did pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. Not to have anything like that happen to you.
Right.
Let's go back to the Balluzzo race. I mean, that was a big deal. What was it like for you when you showed up that day? I think you and I discussed this.
Yep.
What was it like when you showed up that day and you looked out there and saw 30 modifieds?
Yeah, there's like 31 or 32 modifieds. That's so awesome. I mean, it just made me emotional to know that Sean, back in the days when we were just talking about him driving my hot rods, he was always bitching about this. End of the year, we only get like 20 cars because our rules are so different than everybody else. Other than like the local guys, like Dominion guys, and I think Southern National guys, they can all come run with a couple of changes. He was like that. Nobody wants to work together. We only get like 17 or 18 for the biggest race of the year. So basically, he said, I would dream to be able to see 30 cars like New Smyrna gets for like like the big shows during speed weeks. So I know he was up there smiling his ass off, saying, "Damn it, I wish I could be down there schooling those boys." But either way, he was happy to see that we had 30 good cars. I mean, there was probably 25 to 28 cars that could have won that race. And, I struggled all day. I'm not going to lie. I showed up there with the same car I brought last year. And I thought, man, I'm going to unload and it's going to be quick. I got some guidance from Brad. We changed some things up. And what we chased all day was a one-wheel wonder. My locker actually was broke. I had like the right side was clicking and the left side wasn't when we figured it out so late in practice. After the second practice, we pinned it and we locked it. And then we went out third practice and we gained huge. We went from being like 25th to like 14th. And I think that's where we ended up qualifying, just because I never got the car to where it was free enough to where once I locked that, made it solid, I needed more stagger. And once you select your tires, you're pretty much what you already mounted is what you own. So now we were trying to get stagger where, normally you didn't need rear stagger because you had open rear end. But I mean, we still struggle with it. But the good thing was we qualified like 14th out of the 31. Like mid pack, and by say lap 30 we were already up to 8th, and we were slowly taking our time going to the front without abusing tires. And then we had a restart with like I think 30 or 40 to go, and when I went to shift from 3rd to 4th, it was like going in 2 gears at once for some reason. It was just making all kind of racket. my tranny. So I literally couldn't get it in gear until about halfway down the straightaway. And I got piled in, the back bumper by 2 or 3 guys. But we finally got it in gear in like 14th or 15th, and I could feel it. It was just like a cheese grinder. So I was like, oh my God, come on, please. But then they had a quick caution. Well, then I went, then I'm traveling around trying to find third. There was nothing there. So basically, long story short, I put it in high gear and just held it there. And on the restart, I laid back to give myself some room. And we ended up passing 2 or 3 cars, got up to 12th, and then I think we got back up to like 11th, and then on the last restart, I got moved up a little bit. I think we finished 12th, which it was funny with like that 30 to go. I jokingly said, all right, Sean. I mean, looking up the sky, saying, just damn it, just get me to the end. I want to burn this bitch down and show you that I love you and that we're here for you, bud. And it didn't matter if I won or lose. I want to pull up to your mouse over there in the corner and burn it down for you. And that's basically what we did. We got to finish 12th. Car's still in one piece. Drove over to the wall, and I said to myself, and Scott probably knows what I'm talking about. I said to myself, this bitch, when I dump the clutch, it's either going to fry the clutch or it's going to burn the tires off. And with these 8-inch tires, I got so much torque with that 400. I dumped the clutch, and that bitch roasted it over. So I just held it there about $6,000 and just let it eat. I said, I'm going to burn them till they blow. I told Christopher that, his son, before the race. I said, we're all 3 going to pull over here, me, TJ, and Brad, and we're going to burn them down. And so, Brad and TJ met me later, but I had to go ahead and do it because I was already stuck over there. So I went ahead and burned it down to the tires blew, and it was a great feeling. I know I wanted what I wanted. I wanted to win it, but it was just what it was. I mean, when you got no transmission and you're holding it in gear 1 and trying to drive it, it's just almost impossible.
Jeremy, on a personal level, tell us a little bit about what Sean Balluzzo meant to you as a friend and a driver and somebody you worked with. Give us, you don't have to go so much into the racing thing, but just what he meant to you personally.
Yeah, me personally, it was the kind of guy that my whole career, I've always did everything myself. I built my cars, built my motors, built my chassis. I mean, I bought a couple left-handers here and there, port cities, and you assemble them myself. I'm sure Scott has done that himself, but I mean, I always like to take and reincorporate new ideas in a chassis. I mean, I could be winning races, and I'm still wanting to do that. I'm wanting to make it better. I mean, because you always got to stay the one up on the guy. Like I was listening to you guys talking about bump stops and coil binding and all that stuff, and that's like you say, technology has changed so much that you have to be better than your competitors. I mean, you can't do what they're doing or you're not going to win. So when I met Sean, I mean, from I forgot his name, Walker. What was his name? Jimmy Walker. He called me.
Yeah.
Sean's kind of like you. I think you guys get along. I don't know nobody up there, so it's like, especially Virginia at that moment. So I said to myself, hell yeah, I'll call him. And immediately we clicked on the phone. He's like, so what? I don't know nothing about your cars. I know you know about Florida cars because you got the Florida style stuff and late models. He said, I've raced both those, but I don't know nothing about the tour stuff. We started chatting, and all the ideas that I had that was kind of like inventive. He was like, oh my God, I tried that on my Florida car, or my Virginia car. And, just stuff like that. So when we actually met in person, it was just like, we both, looked at each other like, we should have been like brothers, growing up, even though we haven't been together. And see, I'm not going to say I'm a very personable person, but I have a tight circle. I don't share a lot of my information when it comes to setups and handling or what I do to cars or why I'm kicking their asses or why, what I found. I rarely share, like even my driving style. I don't share too much about that. Yeah, man, that might help some young rookie coming up, or give them some ideas or some, tips that just to make sure that they stay on the lead lap and they're not in my way. But I'm not going to show them everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's how Sean was. He was funny. He would always tell them, all right, boys, here's my setup, on Facebook. He'd tell me what springs, what shocks. But see, that don't mean shit. I mean, every driver is so different. And, you know what I'm saying? And
depends on how much camber, how much.
Yeah, every different. Your caster, your lead, your Ackerman. I mean, he ain't gonna share the little things that mean so much. And I laughed my ass off when he posted that stuff. I'm thinking every guy he's competing with is over there putting 350 springs in or 150s and 200, and they're gonna go out there and they're gonna swap ends and bust their ass and back in the wall and say, well, Sean, you said this is what you had. Well, the thing is Sean could probably get in that car and be just as fast as his car, or if not faster. But it's all, with what you like. I mean, and I could hop in somebody else's car and suck. I mean, living proof of that. When I drove for grading at 15, every week we were top 3 practice or leading the practice, getting the poles, winning races. I hop in my own stuff and the things that I try to do to myself, that, even though I told Grady, what I needed, he knew what to do. So, and when I left that team, we left on a great note, but he still wasn't going to share all those notes with me because of the fact he knew my ass was going to come back and compete with him. And that's kind of how, Sean was. And like you're saying, on a personal level, he was like the most honest, great guy. And seeing in racing anymore, I hate to say this. I mean, I don't mean this by any means to any of my competitors, but nobody's loyalty is out there anymore when it comes to racing. I mean, whether you're driving for somebody or someone's driving for you, you can be replaced at any moment, whether you're family, whether you're friends, and that sucks. I mean, and see Sean coming from the era that I came from, where, if you showed that you gave your heart and soul for it and you did good, that people respected you and loved that about you. Now it's just all about daddy's money and buying the way. And see, Sean was like me. He liked to kick those kids and those guys' asses that spend all the money. And I hate to say this, but I know if Sean was here today, Matt would not have won that championship. He might have won a couple races, but I know Sean would have beat him with this $15,000 car versus Matt Carter's $60,000 car, which, and Matt will tell you, yeah, he spent big money. He got the best money he could get because he had people behind him to do it. And I respect Matt for that. And he's a great driver, and I'm not taking nothing away from his championship, but I promise you, if Sean was still here, he would have had a struggle to get that championship. I promise you.
Well, that was the reason why he spent the money.
I mean,
let's be honest.
And that's great that he did that. I mean, because that's, he deserved the championship, but they spent a bunch to do it, where Sean would have did it for a third of that. I mean, it's just like when I battled with Tim Brown for the championship. We spent $30,000 between me and Grady, and they spent about 120. Well, the year before that, Brandon Ward spent about 120, 130 with Jeff Day Motorsports. I mean, but and we only spent 20 or 30. To me, the little guy that can do it with less and be more competitive, I mean, that's what racing, short track, Saturday night racing is all about. It's not about the guy that's got a lot of money that can outdo somebody or outspend them. I mean, granted, you still got to give those guys credit because they still accomplished it. But to me, even my son, I'm building him a 602 mod, and we're going to race it next year, and he's going to have a lot of fun with it. It's going to be the underdog car, but I'm going to make him learn with lesser equipment so that when we do get the great equipment, that he'll be the top dog, kind of like I had to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And how old is your son now?
He's 11. And, he's the one that beat that CP. He battled with CP, and now he's able to walk on his own. And he's in the racing just as much as me. He's out in the shop, not as much as I would like him to, but the thing is with his school and everything. And that's kind of why I can't leave early anymore, because with school these days, these kids can't just take out of school and go racing and then make it up later like we used to. I mean, hell, I used to do half my homework while I was waiting for practice to start, you know what I mean? And then you get back Monday and you turn it in, and the teachers are okay with it. Now you miss more than 4 days, they want to hold them back for the whole year. So then you got bad parents.
Well, Jeremy, we appreciate you taking time out when we call and ask you to come on and talk about it.
Yep.
I really appreciate you being here for the Balluzzo race. You did a great job. I was really standing there laughing myself to death when I saw you pull up to that wall and burn it down over there.
Well, like I say, next year we're going to be more prepared. I'm gonna bring a car up there 4 races before the season's over, and you'll get to watch me run 3 or 4 races at a local show. And we're going to get it figured out. I'm going to leave my car up there with Gene. That was Sean's good buddy that, kept his car, Gene Nichols. I'm going to leave it up there, and we're just going to either drive or fly up for 4 weekends in a row and get it figured out. Because I'm not going to go up there half cocked this year. Like Sean would say, you don't win it at the track, you win it at the shop, and preparation's everything. And I know that myself, but I honestly didn't think I was going to get to run that race, so I never really prepared for it. But I mean, and that's why, just like Mark, I brought that car up there for him. He put the motor in it. He went out and tested, but he couldn't find the balance that he wanted, and he didn't want to, be there half-assed. Which, my thing is, I didn't care. I was there for Sean, whether it was there to blow my motor up or burn my car down or to win. It didn't matter. And I got to spend some great time with Bryce and Terry and the whole Christopher and everybody in the family. And and that's the other thing about Sean I wanted to say before we get off. He was a very big family person, and that's what I am. I mean, if I can't do this with my family, I don't want to do it. I mean, I'll stay home. Like the old saying is, you can go to Disney World and get punched in the face. I mean, if I can't do it with my family and enjoy it, then I'm just gonna stay home.
That's right. When it's not fun, you don't want to do it. So
exactly. But hey, thanks for everything you guys did to publicize it. It was a great turnout, and I think next year it's even going to be stronger. So we'll definitely get on the show, before next year and publicize the hell out of it. Hopefully, I already have me a couple wins, and Matt Carter will be struggling a little bit to keep up with me.
All right, man. All right, we'll talk to you again real soon, and good luck to you down in Florida. And
yeah, Yeah, next up is Speed Weeks, and then we're gonna be running a 602 over there and the tour car, and we kick off the NASCAR wheeling series at my home track. So hopefully, if I get a win there, I might try to battle with the wheeling guys throughout the year. Maybe stick it out for a while. We'll see. It's just that's so much traveling. I mean, we're working on getting moved to North Carolina, which then I'll be a little bit closer to traveling up north. But just everything takes so much time and effort, and I can't really give up my business making good money here in Florida until I get something established up there. But hey, thanks again for everything you guys do, Jack and Scott, and keep doing what you do. All right.
All right, man. We'll
Thank
talk
you,
to you again soon. All right.
See you, brother.
Now you're gonna he's gonna put out. He's gonna spend some money. So you ready to spend some now?
Yeah. I got to get Marty to start talking some sponsors.
He's done called and said you got to get out there and get the.
I work them every day.
At least you get to eat good. He brings
Yes, we
you.
do. Pop Johnson's treated us well this season. Really glad to have him on board.
And I appreciate what you did for us too to get.
You got to thank Amanda.
And I've been trying to get a hold of her to get her on here.
They got it running. What do they call it? Worse than a one-legged man
And a butt kicking contest.
But I mentioned to her that you want to get her on the show, and she's up for it. So.
Yeah, she said she would do it, but I think she had the COVID at one point.
Yeah, so a stretch of 2 weeks there that her daughter tested positive, and then once that settled down, her oldest son tested positive. So she was down for like 3 weeks, couldn't go to work. Well, she could work from home basically, but what she does, because she's the sales marketing manager, she likes to get out there and she deals with a whole bunch of companies. And so yeah, it was tough on her.
Well, we appreciate it.
And she's committed to us for next year, so food and
That's good. That's good.
More of this.
There's some money for you. He's getting started now.
He's a worker.
And like I said, hopefully, Chrome Cutting Company, we got a grand opening with them. In fact, she wanted me to. I know it's a hike for you guys to come to Williamsburg, but there's one for you and Scott.
Oh, cool. Hey.
She's in Williamsburg on Old Town Road.
Okay.
Next to the Prime Outlets, across from the bowling alley.
Okay.
Next to a Papa John's store. So
get something to eat and get your haircut. Yeah, there you go.
We'll do that.
They got a grand opening on November 20th, and
Okay.
we're gonna have a
You have the car up
car
there.
there, and Kobe's gonna be there.
You sure you want him there?
Oh, yeah.
They like Kobe.
Oh,
They met Kobe for the first time when we were at Tech after the race. And for some reason, they liked him.
Colby's a good kid.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And,
I guess we could call him a guy. He really ain't a kid anymore, but I
No,
always think
no.
of him as a kid.
But you're my age. They're all kids.
Well, I want to say thank you to Marty and Tony and everybody for being here. Jacob, Derrick for coming by. Thanks
Mr. Restart.
Jake. Jacob's mom for this. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Keeps digging.
Yeah. Well, I'm the one doing it. But Jeremy Gerstner, thank Jeremy and Chris Johnson for being with us. Next week, Roger Caruth is going to be with us.
That was it. Good.
And Leland Honeyman. Now, they're the two I know for a fact are going to be with us. And hopefully I'll have Amanda. Don't know yet, but I'm
give her a call.
working on that.
Yeah.
So that'd be good too.
Yeah, it'll be fun to catch up with Rajay. I mean, this kid, we've told the story a dozen times. Me and Jack were at Richmond International, and we were there for the cup race, and we were waiting for the trolley. I don't know if you guys have been there, and you take the trolley around to go into the pits. And we were standing there, and there was this family, and Rajay was probably 15,
Maybe, yeah.
14 or 15 years old. And Derrick Cope comes walking up, and he has this book, and he sets his stuff down and gives it to his dad, I think, and runs over, and his whole family, they're from the islands. They're not Jamaica, but they're from the islands, and they all live up in BC now. So it's to see this young African-American kid, and for him to pick out Derrick Cope, I was like, I'm looking at this kid, and I'm like, who the hell knows who Derrick Cope is? Really.
Yeah.
Like any kid this age, not much less an African-American kid that knows who Derrick Cope is. And when he came back, I said, how the hell do you know who Derrick Cope is. I mean, you got to be my age or older to know who Derrick Cope is, to really know. He's like, man, I've been studying NASCAR since I mean, and they've got pictures of him when he was like 8 or 9 years old, and he's got, I don't know if it was a Jeff Gordon Halloween costume, and he had studied, he had read this book.
He could tell you anything you want to know.
I mean,
about the sport.
it was
He's
just
really
so
sharp.
impressive, the knowledge that this kid had done, like done his homework to educate himself on the sport.
And didn't do anything, but when he started out, all he was doing was iRacing.
I don't even know if it was iRacing. I think it was just like,
Well, it was kind of
it was a computer game, but I don't know if it was iRacing yet. And we got to talking to him, and I said, you really need to try out for the diversity program. I don't even know if he knew what a diversity program was at the time. I don't know how he got his hot passes, but so he put in for it. His dad called me like 3 weeks before the combine for the diversity program. He's like, hey, do you know anybody that we could like at least get him some laps in a car? He'd never been in a car. And I'm like, well, yeah. So I went to Andy Graham, and I forget who he was helping at the time. The kid that's running late models now. He went to work for him full time. He was with Jackson, and then he went over and was helping because he had put a shop over here for him. I can't think of the kid's name. His dad does all the fiber optics at the Pentagon, but so somehow he got him in touch with somebody so that he can make some laps in a Legends car before he went and did the combine. He got picked up. I think he ran the Legends for a year and then some late model stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think he ran late models the first year.
Maybe not.
I don't think he did.
And then after that, he went to, I think he did limited and some late models, won a few races, and then he moved up, I think, last year, and done some ARCA, some late models, won some races, and done won some late models, and now he's got a part-time Xfinity ride for next year.
And a full-time ARCA ride.
Yeah, it's still in the diversity program.
That's part of the diversity program. He's still got a full-time ARCA ride, part-time Xfinity ride.
And he's run well. I mean, and this kid, I guess the nice thing, he doesn't have any bad habits. It's the bad thing about taking, it's like picking on our age is we already have these bad habits, and you're trying to teach him these new tricks to do, and it's hard. I get this one. Landon's over there helping me, and he's like, you got to do it. This is, you can't do it like that anymore. We got to do it. This is the way we got to do it. And it's hard to change your old habits. Bump stops. So anyway, but it'd be cool to see him because he's such a nice kid, and his family, they're good people, and then we need more of those new kids because all these kids that we have coming along now, their families have been in the sport, and they kind of have an upper hand, but we need new people coming into the sport.
I saw him at Martinsville. He come running when he was at Martinsville. He run the late model at Martinsville, and he come running up through there. He saw me, and he come on up to me, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" I mean, I would thought at this point in time he probably done, he's moved on, but and matter of fact, he's talked to me 2 or 3 times here in the last couple of weeks, and so we got him coming on this week, and
it's just turned out he's a great young kid.
He's very, very social.
And just to
then we're gonna bring that other one on here, Honeyman, and I ain't.
Yeah, this kid, the first time we met him, he fit right in because he was a smart ass. I don't know how old he was. Was he like 11, 10 years, 12 years old? Oh, dude, it was funny. I forgot what he said. He made a kind of a joke, and Jack just looked at him, and he said, "You'll figure it out in a minute." And I was just dying.
I'm like, I'll tell you, Tony found something before the Balluzzo race, and that was the key to us doing our fastest qualifying lap all season.
Is that where'd you guys qualify?
Yeah, we were on the pole for about till Carter got, or till Godovic got out there.
Mm.
Actually, it was Adams, and then Godovic.
Yeah. Now, Adams would come on strong at the end of the season. I mean,
we did a 16:30 I suck at qualifying. He found something.
You
I'm
want
not
to tell
gonna
us what
ask
it is?
I'm not going to ask him what
It
it
was
is.
all an accident, really.
Now, sometimes that's how it happens.
Real, really, honestly, I appreciate Marty giving me the shout out, but to be honest with you, Paul DeBolt,
Mhm.
he's like, you ought to do this, you ought to do that. He's a lot of help. He really is. I know him and Matt, they've really got that car hooked up and runs well.
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
Can't take nothing away from them. And but they are generous enough to say, you need to try this, you need to try that, you can do that. So
Yeah. Push you in a direction.
Yeah, you really can't take credit, and it. You can call him up, or I can call him up and say, look, should I do this or should I try that? And he's like, yeah. Sometimes he'll say, yeah, that's probably right, or no, you're really screwing up. So,
Mostly it's the other way around.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to thank everybody. Appreciate them being here tonight, and share and like our show, because we have a blast doing this. So it's been a lot of fun for us, and we'll see you again next week.
Right. See you guys.